Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Play on GAA podcast, the hurling edition. Now we're going to talk about Limerick against Cork. So, a massive weekend for Limerick, a massive win for Limerick. Their first win of 2021. They beat Cork by 33 points to 2-19 at the Gaelic grounds. Bit of deception on Cork's part, however, making 10 changes. The most notable name that didn't start was Patrick Horgan. But, a good win for Limerick. They needed to get this win. But is there an element now that they didn't beat Cork, they didn't thrash them, and they were a lot closer to their full, strongest starting 15 than Cork were?
Yeah, completely agree with that. I think Limerick were really comfortable. Like they'd scored 20 points by half time, and this game kind of looked over fairly early. I think it kind of looked over as soon as you saw the kind of team sheets with no Cadigan, no Horgan. Like I'd really thought that Cork were going to kind of continue building on a bit of form that they'd kind of developed, and then I suppose I was really surprised to see the team without the lads we've mentioned, without kind of Tim O'Mahony, without all these other kind of star performers so far. So yeah, I think once you saw that, it was kind of evident that at Cork they don't want to be giving away much, considering that these teams will be playing each other in less than a month's time in a game that really matters, as opposed to I suppose what we saw over the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. But even though Limerick had a very strong team out, they had one name which definitely was interesting, Colin Coughlan, who played in the half-back line. He's a Leaving Cert student, and he scored 2 points from the half-back line. What did you make of this fella?
Yeah, I thought like physically as well for a leaving cert student, 18 years old, he was a lot bigger than all the Cork half forward lines, and just there's that physical edge that Limerick seem to have. Even the young fellas coming through. You look at Cathal O'Neill coming off the bench, another leaving cert student. They're both huge, all huge men, kind of coming straight into that team, and that it's such a help for young fellas coming through when they already have this aspect to their game. And like you look at Colin Coughlan on one side. Dermot Burns was probably man of the match on the other side. He had 3 points and he just absolutely lorded it. Any long puck outs from Cork went just straight into his hands. So yeah, once that kind of half back line became so clearly dominant, like there was only going to be one winner in this game. And it's like if Limerick continued to do that, it's going to be some advantage they're going to have there.
Yeah, and that's always been one of their strongest points is their dominance under puckouts, particularly along the half back line and the half forward line from their own puckouts. Another huge
Yeah,
positive for Limerick was the form of Keane Lynch. I thought he was fantastic.
yeah, definitely. I thought he was picking up like all the pockets of space kind of in the first half, particularly that Cork just couldn't get a handle on him really, and he seemed to be completely unmarked at times. He was just anywhere there was any part of free kind of bit of space in the pitch, he ended up in it, and then it was going straight over the bar every time. You look at him, Tom Morrissey in that line, both scored 4 points each, both really, really good. I thought an interesting aspect though was Limerick, how they were dealing with Cork's kind of short game and how they approached the Cork puckouts. So like as we've seen in the league so far, you look at Patrick Collins has kind of been poking it out kind of short, and Cork's been building from there. And anyway, Limerick, I suppose they just pushed up as opposed to their usual kind of approach of setting traps and allowing it pass out to the cornerback. They pushed right up today and then tried to force Cork to play right through them. And Cork, I suppose Patrick Collins persisted with this kind of short puck outs. But yeah, they kind of got completely bottled up at a lot of times, and Limerick got an awful lot of joy turning over high up the pitch.
Yeah, they definitely did. And you wonder, is this what they're going to do in Championship now? Because as you said, Limerick's usual way of playing would be to sit back and set traps. You wonder if this was the free pass, if you like, to see if pushing up will work. And as you said, they got joy out of pushing up on Cork. Do you think it will be different in Championship? Do you think Cork might see this and then switch up Patrick Collins' puck out strategy? Or do you think they're going to stick with what they're doing right now?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one because after the game, Kieran Kingston said he was delighted how they stuck with it and how that they're still building. This is how they want to play, and that he was delighted to see that Patrick Collins stuck with it and that they stayed true to the game plan kind of. But then at the same time, I was a bit surprised to see that Limerick kind of did push up completely on the puckouts because now it gives Cork a lot of tape to work with, a lot of things that they can examine how Limerick pushed up on it, and that they could probably in this the next month can kind of come up with ways to maybe work around this without altering their game plan entirely. And if they're look for kind of areas where little pockets where they can hit puck outs consistently. So yeah, I thought maybe Limerick might have played their traditional game and let Cork try to build it out and save this to kind of surprise them in later on in the championship game. So yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see how it goes. Maybe Limerick are just confident that once they push up, that Cork will not be able to play through them with the size of the forwards that they have.
And that's the thing, thinking from a Limerick perspective, is that do Cork have enough time to switch now? And is this obviously this could be just a scare tactic from Limerick, that when the championship finally comes around, Cork could have thought about this from here till that first game. And then when it finally comes to showtime, then Limerick just revert back to what they used to do, and Cork wasted a lot of time thinking about something that Limerick were never going to do.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, I think there's this whole game kind of, there was a whole lot of mind games going on with it, like especially with the team sheets, everything like that, and then the whole style of play and everything. So yeah, Cork didn't seem upset at all to really lose this game. They got a few lads that were kind of short of minutes, a bit more game time, and they rested kind of a lot of the key names. Like Fitzgibbon didn't play at all, and Mahoney didn't play at all, no Cadigan. So yeah, it's kind of hard to read into, but I think an important thing to note is that Cork were still able to create plenty of goal chances in this game.
Yeah.
They scored two. Jack O'Connor scored two lovely goals. Like there was the Richie English flick onto the crossbar to prevent another certain goal. Yeah, absolutely. Like, and so that is the absolute positive for Cork, is that, like, you look at them in the league so far this year, they are scoring a huge amount of goals so far. And they might be quietly confident that they can score a fair few goals against Limerick going forward once they have a full strength team out.
And they will have to do that against Limerick, because Limerick you're guaranteed that when the pressure's on, Limerick seem to rack up close to or more than 30 points every single time. So if Cork are going to compete with Limerick, they need to hit the back of the net, in my opinion, at least 3 times.
Yep, yeah, definitely. And I think they've got the players for it. You put Patrick Horgan back in, Cadigan, and then like Jack O'Connor in that corner, like, seems to have a real eye for goal. And that you're not even factoring kind of young fellas like Alan Connolly and Shane Barrett coming off the bench, who definitely have goal in their mind at the first kind of opportunity. So yeah, I think it's that is the thing that will be most pleasing for Kieran Kingston, is that the goals seem to be coming very freely for Cork right now. But yeah, I wouldn't read too much into this game. I think it's very hard to know exactly where Cork are at right now. They're probably fortunate to be within 7 or 8 points of Limerick this weekend, considering the balance of the play. But yeah, so I think it'll be completely different teams lined out for the championship game. It's just interesting. Will Cork be far enough down the line to have joy with this new system against Limerick's high press, I suppose?
Oh, I can't wait for that game, honestly. That game, early contender for game of the championship already, in my opinion.
Absolutely, yeah. That will set the template for the entire championship for what's to come, I reckon.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. Okay, guys, so that is our review of Limerick against Cork done. We'll come back with Dublin against Clare.